So the subject of this tutorial is going to be your feasibility study and your sitemap. A feasibility study is the first step you would want to take before you start your design and planning phase. The feasibility study will basically help you and your design team to better understand what is the size of ADU that you can develop on your property and what are the exact guidelines that you will need to follow, any red flags, challenges that you might face down the road. It's also gonna make things more clear to you and to your team in terms of how things are gonna look like for time frames mainly, because once you're going to get your feasibility done, you also know if there's additional requirements that you need to meet other than the basic requirements, and that's going to let you know if there's any additional professionals you need to bring on board and if there's any additional time frame that's going to be involved. If you're hiring a design build team, they will probably sorry, not a design build, but a design team or design build team, they will be the one to do it for you. And if not, and you choose to do your own process from start to finish on your own, then I'll show you how to get it done. So what I'll do right now is, again, I'm going to share with you my screen. I'm going to share a few things. I'm going to share with you the feasibility sample that you have in the package that you got, and I'm going to go over it to show you exactly how to look at it. I'm also going to share with you what's called, just a second, I forgot the name of it. It's from a brickwork. It's a brickwork report. Also, you got a sample of that one. So have those two available in front of you. So, because I'm going to go over it and tell you exactly what you're going to get over there and what exactly are those used for. I'm also going to go over two websites that are going to be relevant for you to do your feasibility, and I'll show you how to get your feasibility if you're not doing it with a design team, how to get your feasibility done relatively cheap. When I'm saying cheap, it's those are the resources that professionals are using where they need to do a feasibility, or if they don't have a team on board to do it, they use those third-party partners to do it. So I'm gonna again switch back to my computer, and I'm going to share with you my screen. I'm going to talk about the different things I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so let's start with going over what a feasibility report, feasibility analysis, study, whatever you want to call it, should look like. I mean, different companies and different firms are going to do it in different ways. I'm going to show you what we do and what I would recommend you to have in place, just so it's going to make it easier for you to read and understand exactly what you're dealing with. So a feasibility study, let me make it bigger over here just a second. Okay, so a feasibility study is going to be a combination of two things. The first thing is you want to get a sitemap for your property. Okay, a sitemap is basically going to show, one second. Okay, I'm going to go back to the small size. A sitemap is basically going to show your lot shape and measurements. It's going to show everything that is on your lot. On this one specifically, you can see that there's the main house, there's a trellis over here, there's a storage here, and there's a garage over here. And once you have that sitemap, then you want to gather information from the city, from your local planning department, that's going to be relevant for your specific requirement and guidelines and things that the city is going to need you to meet in order to develop your ADU. Yes, I know that there's guidelines that are general by the state, and I'm always saying it, there's general state guidelines, but every city, most cities are supplementing with their own. So you need to know both and see how exactly it's going to work with what you're planning to do. So this part over here is the sitemap, and I'll talk about those colors in a second. This over here is going to show the location in relation to other properties in the area. And this is going to be the information that you gather from the city. This here is basically the actual information of the building, meaning any buildings that are over here. Now let's go zoom in and you'll see what exactly we are doing on our feasibility report, and that's what I recommend you to have. So we're basically coloring it in two colors. Choose whatever colors you want. For this one I've done it in two colors are going to be very distinct, so it's going to be able to understand it. So this is the front of the property line over here. It's a corner lot in this case. Okay, this is the property lines over here, and you can see we have measurements over here of the property. Okay, different measurements, and then we have the actual house that is existing over there, and we have the trellis, and we have storage here, we have a garage over here. What we are doing is we are showing what are the requirements of setbacks, and we're putting those after we have met with the city, meaning we're taking the measurements, we're creating the site map, and then we're meeting with city planning department to get their guidelines, and then we're putting it here in colors. Sorry. So first you can see that there's setbacks. The red represent the setback requirements that the city is requiring us to meet in order to do a development on this property. Okay, you can see that we're marking it this way. We know that if we're trying to develop anything, we need to stay within those boundaries. Okay, this is it over here. And then we're showing what is the allowed area that we can build an ADU. Okay, so you can see that it's this area here if we want to have it attached to the house. We have this area over here, and of course we have a garage. A garage, it's a given. If you have a garage, you can always convert a garage no matter where it's located. Of course you need to meet different guidelines, but we'll talk about it in a second. And then when you're going here to the side, you'll see that we're putting over here all the information that we're gathering from the city. First we have, of course, the address. What is the scope? In this case, it's a new ADU. What is the date that we have met with the city? What location of office it was that we've met with the city? Who is the representative that we met and gathered the information with? Because you always want to get that information, by the way, because if you have more questions, you can always go back and ask for that specific representative and ask them those questions again. You don't want to get answers from different representatives because it's gonna, sometimes it's gonna create a mess. And then we're going to put what are the setback requirements. You can see that for this one specifically, we have front 22, side it's going to be 6 foot setbacks and 5 foot setbacks. Those are, by the way, that's for the main house. Okay, for the side, for the ADU is going to be 5, and on the back it's going to be 5. Okay, the max allowed height on this one specifically is between 18 to 22 feet. The max allowed living area is 3,244. It's for the whole lot itself, okay? And the max allowed addition or ADU, addition is this size and the ADU is this size. By the way, it's important to get those two numbers because if you're planning to do a 2-story ADU, you need to know that. State law says that you can build a minimum of 16 feet height. Most cities will limit that and say that this is the maximum, and that's okay, they can do that. If a city says that it's 16 foot height max, it means if you're going to try to do a 2-story or if you're going to try to build above a garage, your ceiling height will be anywhere between 7 to 7.5 feet, which is pretty low. Standard sizes are approximately 8 feet. So it's important to understand those two numbers because in this case, the owner does want to have a 2-story. We know it because we've done it and designed it, and it's already, in the process of getting a permit. But in this case, specifically, the owner want to do a 2-story, and if the city would not allow him to go over 16 feet, in this case they allow, but if they would not allow, then in some cities, they will allow you to take from the addition portion and build whatever height you want. Meaning, you will take from the addition portion to build the ADU, but it's going to reduce the size of the addition if you're planning to have any addition down the road. What does that mean? It means this. Basically, you can max out the size of the addition of your property if you want to, and then also have an ADU, but the ADU is going to be limited to 16 feet. If you're not planning to have an addition and you want an ADU that's going to be over 16 feet, then you can take from this over here, do your ADU above it, and whatever is left, then you can do your addition, and your addition is going to be limited to whatever you took to use for your ADU. Okay, then we're asking if there's any parking requirements. Important to know, and there isn't any. We want to know if there's any easement. On this one specifically, yes, we know that there is 5 feet from the property line on the back. Now, why do we have 5 feet over here? It's this, okay? In this specific property, there's a public easement over here, okay? Public use easement, it's PUE, because there is a power line over here, okay? There's a power line that is running over here. Because of that, the power company has an easement on this portion. And that means that if we want to build anything here, we need to be within 5 feet of this easement. All right? Meaning we cannot get closer. If this is the property line over here, we cannot get to the property line. We need to be 5 feet away, meaning that's where we can start any new build that we would want to do. The garage itself, if we would want to convert it, we know that we can do it exactly where it is without moving it. Of course, still need to get a clearance from the power company, but we don't need to move it. But any addition to the garage in this portion, we'll need to start over here. Same thing for second stories above it and so forth. Then we're going to go back here and we see if there's any special review boards. Special review boards. Some neighborhoods, some cities, some locations are going to have review boards. Those review boards are boards that are on top of any other thing that you need to do. Meaning, there's the basic of planning department, building and safety department. You need to have your clearances, new utilities, and so forth. But if there's any review boards, like if you have a coastal committee review board, if there's any historical preservation layer, it's HPOZ, or if there is any other board, you need to be aware of it, because those will add more time frames. You need to go to those review boards. You might need to meet their specific criteria in terms of exterior facade. So you want to know if there's any review boards on the get-go. And of course, you want to know if there's any special requirements for planning, engineering, and so forth. We're usually asking the basic questions if there's any need of a land survey. There's none on this one. Soil report, none on this one, or any other. Okay, you want to know those because, again, those can add to your cost. Those can add to your time frames. You want to know those on the get-go. You don't want to be surprised later on knowing that you need to have those, and then it's more cost and more time frames added because you were not prepared for that. So that's basically a feasibility, and with that, once you have that information from the city and you have that site map, you can clearly see where you can have your ADU and where you can position it, and now you can start your design and planning phase. Okay, now if you haven't hired a design firm that can help you with getting your site map in place and getting your feasibility study done, what you can do is a combination of the two things I'm going to show you right now. Okay, those are actually actual secrets and actual actions that developers take when they need to get things done, and if they don't have a team on board, and if they need to get things done relatively cheap, faster, just to get clear answers on what can be done, how it can be done before they're moving to the next step, and they don't want to pay to a design firm to get it done for them. So the first thing you can do, and probably want to do, is you want to order a site plan. Now this website, it's called drawsiteplan.com. Okay, when you're going to go to this website, you have an option to choose different site plans. Okay, it's going to show you the different site plans that you can choose from. Okay, I'll say that for what you need for feasibility, the basic one is more than enough. It's going to show you exactly the measurements of the lot and the structures on it and so forth. And once you have that site map, you can then have your phone call meeting, actual meeting, in-person meeting with your planning department to discuss and answer, ask the questions like was presented to you on the create your own feasibility by using this company, this website, to get your site plan done. Now, this firm You can order it online. You don't need to even call them. You can do everything online over here. If you decide that you're doing it with them, you can use a promo code on your checkout that's going to give you another 5% discount. It's our promo code. Use Levi DSP. It's spelled L like lemon, E as in elephant, V as in victory, I like in India, D as in David, S like in Sam, P like in Paul, Levi DSP, and you're going to get a 5% discount to get your site plan done with this company. Okay, that's one step that you can take. Another step that you can take is if you want to get your more information and you don't want to reach out to the city, you don't want to meet with the city rep, city planning department, you can reach out to this company. This company, again, online, okay, they're called Brickwork. When you go to their website, you're able to order a report based on your needs. Okay, I'll show you how you do that. When you go here, you just go to request report. 1 second, give it a second, it's gonna load. And then once you're gonna get your report, once you're gonna request a report, you'll see that you have a few options. Okay, you don't need to do it. Again, if you're asking for one report for one property, which is your property, you don't need to enlist yourself on a monthly subscription. You just do it one meaning it's going to be $50 per lot, meaning there is no account, no subscription in it. You're just going to pay $50 per lot, meaning per your location, per your property, and you're going to get from them all those different items in the report that you're going to get from them. Okay, again, it's Brickwork. Once you order it and you get it, here's what you can expect to get in your report. Okay, in your report, you're gonna get the information for your property. It's gonna show what's the existing conditions, what's the existing structure, how many units on the structure, what year it was built, what's the assessed improvement value, and so forth. Okay, and then what is the maximum ADUs permitted? Okay, it's going to show you for attached, for detached, for junior ADU, okay, and so forth. It's going to show you the setbacks. It's going to show you the distance from main structure that needs to be. Okay, it's not, as you can see, it's not a site map. Okay, what they're doing here, they're just doing a square, showing the location, the main structure in a square, in a rectangle, a rectangle for the ADU. They're showing the distance. They're not getting you a site map. They're just getting you the information that you need to work with and put it on your site map. They're going to show you the ADU size, okay, sizes that you're allowed to build, height that you're allowed to build, parking, if there's any parking requirement, restrictions. Basically, all the information that you need in order to get that done. Okay, so if you're going to use and we're going to go back here 1 second. If you're going to use this company, draw site plan to get your site map, and then this company, Brickwork, to get your report, okay, you eventually, basically, you're not getting it this way, but you have two pieces that together will bring you to a point where you have that in place, which is your feasibility report, which will give you a clear understanding of what can be done, how it can be done on your specific property and conditions. That's it. Once you have that, it's a green light for you to start your design and planning based on the information that you were gathering.